There is a game that you're playing. They're basically going to be talking about the two games that you've been reviewing. We're gonna focus on those right now. We talked about one Star Wars game already. We're gonna talk about
Yeah.
another Star Wars game.
Oh.
And let's see if I could share my screen here. So you've been playing a classic
Yeah, I have.
Star Wars
Star
game.
Wars. I'm stalling along with you here, man.
No,
All
you go ahead.
right,
What's
there we
this
go.
classic Star Wars game, bud?
Star Wars Bounty Hunter. We're going all the way back to the era of the PS2 and the GameCube.
Hmm?
When this game initially came out, it's a third-person action IP Star Wars. This takes place before Attack of the Clones. It sort of gives you a backstory of Django and what his adventures leading up to him being chosen for the clone program. This is a weird game from an era of IP games being in a bad place. Like, since the NES, like IP games have just always been in a bad place, and that bled through until, like, honestly here. IP games were like, for every one decent IP game, there were 15 just get it out on the market. Let's go. And Star Wars was no different. There was a lot there's a lot of really good Star Wars games, and there's a lot of horseshit Star Wars games.
Star Wars fighting games, man.
Yeah, Star Wars Masters of Teräs Käsi, which is the reason why I bought a PlayStation 1. I'm going to be honest. It was one of my first PlayStation 1 games, so I have memories of that game, but I'm also not an idiot. Like, it's the bad game that I love. I love that game, and it's bad. This isn't bad. This is just a very, very solid third-person action games with Star Wars action on Star Wars settings with Star Wars characters. Like, even back in the day, like, this was a very solid game. This is one of our this is a top contender for, like, a perfect 7 panel. This is the remastered version by Aspyr.
Okay, yeah.
Aspyr's been doing pretty much all of the old Star Wars games being remastered by Aspyr. They did both Knights of the Old Republic games for the Switch, Force Unleashed for the Switch, and they did that Battlefront collection, and now we've got this. And I'm sure I'm missing a couple. I can't remember if they did it. Night Dive, I think, did.
Yeah, Night Dive did.
Dark. Wait.
That's right. Continue.
Whatever. This one's not that. This one's Jango Fett, man. They fixed They everything looks better. It looks good playing on systems now. It's not like, it still looks like this is based on the GameCube code, not the PS2 code. Which is the right call. The GameCube version played way better in terms of performance and visuals and lighting and stuff. And they fixed a lot. There's a couple of things they fixed. They give you a flashlight in this now. There's some dark spots in this. And if you can remember back in the day, running these games under 480i, running through dark spaces, if it was dark, you just couldn't see. You had to adjust the contrast of your TV if you wanted to see. But now they actually give you a flashlight that is just toggleable. You get the origin of a lot of stuff. Like, you see how he gets his ship, the slave, what used to be the slave one.
So, what kind of game is this? Is it a shooter?
Third-person shooter. It's just a third-person shooter. You can do bounties. You have bounty tools that you can, like, because, like, you have, like, a helmet scanner that you can scan for people to see if they have a bounty, and then you have, like, what's essentially a space bolo. You like tie them up and you can claim the bounty, and there's stuff that goes with that. It's just like, that's like completionist stuff. It's not necessary to, in a lot of cases, to complete the story, but
and visually
it's fine. Everything looks good. They've added some bump mapping some of the assets, so they get some more depth to them and stuff. But for the most part, it just looks like high res assets on a GameCube game that we've seen this style of game before. I wish I got the PlayStation 5 version, because apparently they added DualSense support to the game, which does not come across on. I'm playing it on Steam, and even if you put in a DualSense controller, it doesn't recognize that stuff. But there's not a whole lot of improvements. They did add one very neat thing to it. There was sort of like an Easter egg in the original game, so to speak, where it hinted that if you caught all the bounties, you would unlock Boba Fett, which was not true. Boba Fett was not an unlockable character in the original, but in this game, if you beat it, you unlock a Boba Fett skin. So you can play through the game again as Boba Fett. I mean, not like you're still Jango, you're just wearing the Boba Fett armor. But that's neat. That is, righting a wrong of the past.
Sure.
But like the game didn't really need a whole lot, because the game's been available. It's not like it hasn't been available. They re-released it on the PlayStation 4, just under like the PS2 Classics thing that they were doing and stuff. So like, I think I got a copy of it when I bought the Battlefield or Battlefront Super Mega Edition, because I got the Darth Vader PS4 when that came out. And it came with like that, and it came with like a bundle of old Star Wars games, where it came with like Super Star Wars, Bounty Hunter, Episode 3, and Race of Revenge, and Star Wars Starfighter. So it also kind of gives you a hint of what else kind of stuff. Maybe Star Wars Starfighter is next on that. I don't know. But yeah, no, this game was always good. This release didn't make it worse. It's just as good as it was. If you like the game, this is a great way to experience it again.
Cool.
If you've never played it before, it's well worth a play, especially if you're a Star Wars fan like me. It's like, it's Star Wars Legends material now.
Sure.
But like, there's not a lot of Jango Fett backstory. So headcanon wise, this fills in a lot of good gaps for the Jango character that you never really get to see. So
cool.
Yeah, no, I really like it. I've always liked this game. So it's nice that it just kind of gets a second shot for a modern, and making it completely accessible, because you know how it is playing some of these old games on PC.
It can be.
It can be tricky to get things like feeling right, or like controls. Like PlayStation 2 controllers have a different feel to them. Like if you go back to them, there's a different feel to like a PlayStation 2 controller to a PlayStation 4 or 5 controller, or an Xbox 360 controller, or even a Steam Deck.
Well, and you're using this. You're playing on the Steam Deck on this.
I'm playing on Steam Deck and on a PC. I play both. Yeah. Yeah, and no performance issues at all on the Steam Deck. I mean, it is a PlayStation 2 game. I would hope it's But yeah.